every time that I do these integrations, the intensity, the impact, the breadth of the healing expands. And then they up-level them to those Christ consciousness frequencies, and then they transmit them through the hollow bone. I literally couldn't move my body, and I could feel the energy coming down through the crown. It was as if I was a puppet and all the cords had been cut.
Hey guys, Kelly Wagner, publisher, Edge Magazine. On today's Being Curious show, we talked to the amazing Ken Lloyd. It not only did he show up and we took the interview in so many different directions. He did a live transmission for our community, which was such a blessing. He did a little light language karaoke for me, which I thought was fantastic. I'm going to let you guys know, with these interviews, we do all of this prep ahead of time. I had pages of questions. I basically threw them out the door because we just got in flow. So, Kelly at Edge Magazine, the Being Curious show, please enjoy Ken Lloyd. Ready to embark on a journey of limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Every conversation is a journey, a chance to explore, learn, and embrace the magic that life has to offer. Connect with the Being Curious show on all major podcast platforms at the Edge Network, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Being Curious show. Hello, everybody. Kelly Wagner, publisher of Edge Magazine and the Being Curious show. Today we have a fun one, and I want to jump in, but I also want to add a little bit of a little prequel to this. So a couple of years ago, about a handful of years ago, I was introduced to light language by the amazing Jewel Jackson. And I was sitting at an event and she started to have her transmission. And my human brain was like, what's going on? And then I tried to understand everything. And then I had this beautiful tap on my shoulder of my guide that just said, breathe and listen and feel. And it was amazing. And I've had some experiences since then. And it's just fascinates me, intrigues me, and I feel it on a different level. And today I get to collaborate with a beautiful soul that is on the planet right now. And I'm just so excited. Ken Lloyd is a transformational healer and spiritual activator on a mission to awaken the dormant gifts within every soul on the planet. Doesn't that just sound yummy, everyone? Ken came on my radar about, I want to say about 6 months ago, and he does these beautiful shorts all over YouTube. So check it out. We're going to promote his website, kenlloydofficial.com. He shares so much content to everybody. You can get to know him, his gifts and abilities, and his team. And then I was at the Awakened Lifestyle Expo event with David Trotter, Awakened Magazine, in December. I went to help. It was such an honor. And I got to shake Ken's hand and I got to experience one of his sessions. And you guys, we're getting in this room. It sat like 65, and I think there was like 100 people in there all the way around. And Ken just casually walks up, commands the room, and he goes. And it was just amazing. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here today. So today we're joined by Ken Lloyd, a leading, say that 5 times, voice in the world of spiritual activation and multidimensional healing. Ken's work is all about removing the limits of the human experience and stepping into your highest self through energy clearing and DNA activation. You can find his transformative work at kenlloydofficial.com. Let's rock on. Ken, welcome to the show.
Hey, what a great introduction. Thank you.
Wasn't that good? You can tell I was like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. The expo was amazing. And you're right. When I get into those rooms, right, those group sessions, it's kind of not me. right? It's the team. And just a short story, in my previous, before all this happened, I was an extreme introvert. Like, I wouldn't answer emails. I wrote technology, created software, built 3 companies. And I was the guy that would never answer the phone, never answer the email, never left the house, really. And when this happened, now it's the opposite. I'm able to show up in front of thousands of people with 0 stage fright, 0 anxiety, 0 anything. So it's a blessing to be able to get up there and just like, hey, let's go have some fun. And so, yeah, thank you.
You were so calm. And what was interesting is I always love these because I put on events myself. And anytime you bring in a keynote that people might know but might not, and they're on the vendor floor and they have their booth, most of the time before their event, they're just kind of sitting there, or they're doing some sessions, or they're handing out things. And that's what you were doing. You were just kind of like, you were in the middle of all of these beautiful things going on. And you just, I was volunteering, so I got to orbit, and I just watched you, and then I'm like, oh, he's gonna have a line after his session, and oh, that happened.
Yeah. It was beautiful. So again, thank you for running the show. Thanks for introducing yourself as well at the event.
It was great. Yeah, it was, and I'm so glad that we were able to have just even a couple of moments, and that's why we're here today. Okay, well, I have 100 million questions. My first one for you is, what are you curious about? What kind of curious space are you in right now? Because you have a lot going on.
It's interesting when you say curious, there's the curious of what's going on with me in the spirituality realm, and there's the curiosity what's happened to me on the human aspect, right? So I kind of live a dual, I don't want to call it a dual life, right? But a dual energy, right? And for me, I'm not that curious about life. Like, I don't have a lot of passions and desires necessarily, other than meeting and greeting people and having that kind of thing, right? And since my experience took place, most of my life's taken care of. I know it sounds crazy and creepy and unfair, but my team literally takes care of everything for me. So my curiosity is always about, hey, what's coming next for me? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that from the spiritual realm is, my team had told me years ago that most people, when they go on their own spiritual evolution process, their own ascension process, it's a staircase, right? You jump up, right? And then you have an integration time. And some people it's a couple months, and some people it's a very long time for the integration. And then they get their next piece. And they explained to me that I'm on this elevator that actually doesn't stop anywhere. It just continues to evolve and evolve and evolve. I'm like, well, what does that even mean? And for your audience, before my event took place, I don't have a spiritual background. I don't have a religion background. I have a computer background, right? Programming. So I couldn't understand the idea of, what does it mean, an elevator that never stops? And ultimately that means there's not a lot of integration time for me. My team has a tendency to shift either my physical structure or my gifts or my awareness or whatever that is about every 3 months or so. And it takes that long for the energy in the body to stabilize. So again, they can bring me up to this next, whatever the next is. So my curiosity for my team is, hey, what's coming next? And I get crickets. They don't tell me.
Where are you at in the 3-month cycle right now?
I am at the end of the shift, and now I'm into integration, which simply means the idea of the codes coming in, and now me understanding how to use these codes to bring in these next things, which is, as I was mentioning before the show, which is this trans channeling from the team. So I channel the team in my one-on-one sessions. I'll tell you anything you want. We don't do stories much, but I had an opportunity last weekend to do a friends retreat, local friend. I'm like, I'll show up. And I ended up channeling for everybody in the room these individually really long messages. I'm like, well, that's new, right? And now they have me learning to step out so they can step in deeper and deeper. So what's happening is more of that. And of course, more of the healing. Every time that I do these integrations, the intensity, the impact, the breadth of the healing expands. So more and more people are able to receive, right? In the beginning, when I learned I was a healer, it was really, really small stuff. Like, they would put groups of people in front of me with shoulder problems, right? And it would take me an hour or two to get rid of that discomfort in the shoulder. And I'm trying to figure out, do I do this? Do I do that? Right. And now it happens within seconds. So not only that, but anybody in the room, while if I'm in a group and I'm working on somebody's shoulder as an example, other people in the room will receive other healings or other activations or other awareness or knowledge or knowledge, because as the light language comes through, everybody's getting something no matter what's coming out of the mouth. Everybody gets their own unique codes, which is just, it boggles my mind on how that actually works.
It was interesting. Everybody that's listening, before the show, I told Ken that I, by the way, I didn't sleep much last night, which was really fun, but I told him that I was seeing all of these keys around him, and they were all different keys and they were all floating around. So by you saying that, it's like when you were in the room, you were giving all these just different, the same code, the same transmission, but they were all seen as little different keys to everybody, and they would grab them and go, "Yay, this is for me," and "Yay," and it was just, it's fascinating.
So as you're talking, the team's showing me. This is how it works as well. So again, from the idea of the computer world, an encryption tunnel. So a tunnel, right? Like a transmission tunnel. So I'm a hollow bone. The information comes down and comes out. I don't have the ability to intercept, interfere, manipulate, touch. My codes aren't there. This is normal, right? But what's happening is that light language is a tunnel. And, you know, Kelly, when you receive from me or anybody receives from me, your team, your spirit team, your off-planet team, your galactic team, your divine team, whatever the team is, right, needs you to have something, okay? Maybe it's a physical healing. Maybe it's an activation. Anything is on the table, but they need a human to do it. So your team works through the divine team. They make sure that your codes that the team wants to give you don't have any back doors, no small print, right? They're clear. They're pure codes. And then they up-level them to those Christ consciousness frequencies, and then they transmit them through the hollow bone. So everybody gets what they want, but they're not getting it because Ken says you need to be something today, right? It's nothing like that at all. Even though I say we're going to set the intention to do a heart release, what's coming out, everybody's heart's going to be different. So it's your team is actually doing the work through my collective.
Drink it in, everybody. Just buckle up. This is going to be great. So let's back up just a moment and talk to us about, so you owned 3 companies. You were the computer guy. What happened for this? There's a good story with this, Ken. I can just
there is. There really is. And I'll give the cliff notes here because there's some juicy stuff coming after that, right? So my background, self-taught cybersecurity entrepreneur. I'm one of the original inventors of antivirus, anti-spyware back in the early 2000s. In fact, the very first piece of software I ever wrote, taught myself how to write software. I have no education, was adopted by AOL. I was their first anti-spyware application across their entire platform. That company sold to Earthlink. I sold another one to a cyber intelligence firm in DC. The last company that I built was mobile cybersecurity, right? I built a back-end platform to tell you millions and millions of apps. What are they doing? Who are they talking to? And what are they not doing? They're not telling you. So that platform, that was sold back in 2018. Now, here's the thing. Stressful. 2018 is when I was in acquisition, and me and the business partner were, it's about as oil and water as you can get every day. It was stress. I was on massive energy drinks, right? I was on prescribed ADHD medicine. I had employees across different parts of the world, time zones, wasn't sleeping much, painting the picture. And I was diagnosed with a pituitary tumor. And that pituitary tumor was later biopsied as a cortisol tumor wrapped in a cortisol cyst. Just to give you an understanding of the amount of stress I was under. Anyhow, woke up one day, early spring 2018, and I'm mad. Business partner, just another day, another poke. And I went down and lay down in bed, and I found myself instantly arched up in bed. So the stomach went up in the air, like an upside down letter U. And I was electrified, frozen in position. I literally couldn't move. And this went on for 4 minutes or so, I think. Like, I'm not exactly sure, but I could feel this energy swirling around my belly. And then it just popped right out. And then I passed out, woke up the next day, and most of my anger was gone. Like, it was really strange to wake up peaceful all of a sudden.
Right.
Now, let me I didn't know what happened. It took me 2 years, but let me explain what took place that moment. The metaphor to use is the idea of a near-death experience, but it was a trauma release event. All of our trauma is stored in our energetic field, in the physical structure of the body. That was pulled out of me instantaneously. Now, I still had trauma I had to deal with the business partner, with the acquisition, so on and so forth, but all that history was gone. The idea of having a near death and the tunnel opening. People go over, they have these epiphanies, right? They meet someone, they have a conversation, they do all these things. Oh, but my name's spelled wrong, by the way.
Oh, great.
It's okay. So they have these conversations and these epiphanies, and they come back. Some of them are instantly healed. Right? We hear about these stories. That did not take place. None of that took place. But the idea of the tunnel opening and having a soul aspect walk into my field. Okay.
All of this in 4 minutes, or all of this over the 24 hours?
Minutes.
Okay, got it.
It happened instantly. So the team had to remove all those lower vibrational frequencies in order to pop me up high enough to get that soul to walk in.
Right.
All right. So I didn't have any memories, didn't have any experiences. I just woke up the next day being like, okay, what just happened? And now I'm on a mission, right? So that soul that came over and didn't talk to me, and I didn't know it was there for 2 years, but it's the one that next day said, go Google this thing. Go buy this book. Go learn about an aura. Go read about a chakra, like all these basic fundamental spiritual things, right? Go see a psychic. Go have past life regression, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was in it. Like when you start a company, there's passion. Every day you're waking up. How do I solve this? How do I move forward? I'm going to put in 20 hours a day, and you love it. You're buried in it. I lost my interest for computers. And then I'm focusing on this. And as I'm doing this for the first 2 years, I'm learning how to meditate. I worked with somebody to teach me how to do multidimensionality. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And sure enough, I would be able to drop in and be like, take me to Mars. Take me to the middle of the planet. Take me. And I was able to get confirmation. I was doing all these things, which, by the way, I thought was pure, fill in the word, imagination.
Right.
And I was pretty sure that person was telling me, hey, you're doing a great job. Send me more money. Right? So not the case at all. So one day I picked this book and it says, hey, energy healing. Right? So I'm doing these practices in it and I'm working on friends and family. And they're like, yeah, we're feeling it. And I'm like, no, you're not. And sure enough, they were. Now it was small and titrated. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get Reiki certified. So I got Reiki certified, open up the energy channels. And that's all I've done. I don't have a modality, by the way. I don't have a process. I just have the team. But that's my fundamental stuff. And so more and more people started showing up with more and more issues. Over a period of 2 years, I worked on I don't know how many people, but I would learn shoulders in a while. I would learn backs. I would learn internal stuff, right? And more would happen. So in 2023, I was beginning to do events. Now, what is that? Almost 3 years ago from the time of this recording. And I had run across someone who says, you know, you're a walk-in. I'm like, what's a walk-in? And that's when things started to click, right? I wasn't a walk-in, but I had a walk-in in my field.
Right.
It was confusing for a while. So I was what was called a soul braid. 2 or more souls braided together.
I've never heard of that before, but it totally makes sense.
Right. A typical soul walk-in is an exchange. They have a near-death. They slap. I'm joking around. Right? They give each other high fives, walking through the tunnel, and the other one comes in and one leaves. Right, like a shift change.
I look at it like a what I see it is like a relay race.
Like a relay race. Yeah, like a relay race. Yeah. So that's an exchange, and when that happens, their lives change. Like when that soul comes in, personality shifts. They got memories, but they don't quite understand. The whole world gets turned upside down. Right, divorce and all these other things. So that was not me because I'm like, that doesn't resonate because I'm still married to the same woman. I still have the same things, what have you. So on April 1st, 2023, I have a woman doing a session on me. Happens, right? We have people work on us. And 12 more walk-ins came in. I'm like, whoa. I had one. Right. And now there's 13. So that rate, and they're all still a braid.
Okay.
So these are not full souls. Okay. These are sparks. What I like to call them are sparks of a tool set. So imagine a big toolbox and they bring a spark in or a single tool for a job. So as my awareness of what I was doing and more people showed up, I would need more tools in the toolbox. More of those sparks would show up, more of those soul aspects would show up. So that was April 1st, 2023. December 12th, same year, I get the message, go meditate, Ken, 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, and it was pretty compelling. So I go into my little room there and I drop in and I'm frozen in position again. I'm sitting, and I couldn't itch or twitch for 15 minutes. I literally couldn't move my body and I could feel the energy coming down through the crown. And I started asking the questions, hey, what's going on? And they're like, we're a little busy right now. We'll get with you in a minute. And they turned off my ability to ask questions. So for 13 of those 15 minutes, literally the only thing I could do is observe what was happening to me. Now that was the day the higher self came into the field. So we went 13, the higher self came in. That's when everything changed. Within 3 weeks, I found myself asking for a divorce from a 17-year marriage, beautiful woman, wonderful woman, right? And being a cybersecurity guy, an entrepreneur, I had done really, really well in my life, right? Living in Naples, Florida, living in whatever, right? I put the house up for sale. I sold all my vehicles, including the brand new race car I just bought. And I left for Mexico by March with just 3 suitcases. Never been out of the country. And a completely shift. Like within 3 months, I was into this new, I have no idea what's happening to me. Right. And it felt natural, by the way. Right. It felt really, really weird, compelling, natural. So I go to Mexico. I'm in Yalapa for a month, a beautiful place. And 9 more come in. Didn't know it though, but 9 more came in, right? So I have 22 in my field. And then I'm in Tulum in July of last year, 2024. Things just come to create. Yeah, 2024.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. Okay.
And I get the message, Ken, go do Bufo Cambo. Okay. Plant, frog medicine, if you will, and toad medicine.
You did both together?
Within 2 hours of each other.
Of course you did. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't like those things. Like I don't do drugs. I do not like these things. If the room's spinning, yeah, I had one too many glasses of wine. Like I just don't do these things. So the point is I trust my team. I do the Cambo, which is the frog medicine that purges you. It detoxes the cells of your body and opens them wide open.
Doesn't it? Isn't it like the little thing that it goes on your skin and it like burns? Okay.
Yeah, the little. I got my little 5 little white badges of honor, or whatever you want to call it.
I've heard about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did that.
Yeah. And then within 2 hours, I'm doing the Bufo, which is the DMT, the God molecule, and they call it the ego death. And let me tell you something. It is an ego death. It's about a 25-minute experience. I inhale the DMT. I lay back down. I'm literally I recorded the whole thing. I'm in stillness for 25 minutes, which I guess is a little abnormal because usually you're running around throwing dirt all over yourself. I've heard the stories. And 10 minutes, I'm gone. I start coming back. I see my ego being walked out by 2 other spirits, and he was pissed. He's looking at me really, really angry. Like, what are you doing to me? And then I look in the tent, and I see 22 shards of light in the tent in Tulum. 21 shards of light. The 22nd looked like he was absolutely full physical human form. I open my eyes, and there he is. I close them. I open them. I close them. I open them. I'm like, what is going on? And sure enough, I get 2 messages that day. Your 24th chromosome's turned on now. And everything you have done was nothing but the sniff of the aroma of what's about to come. No, none of that made sense.
You're like, I just did Cambo, I just did Bufo, I'm in Mexico, I did this and that. But then, like you said, it just felt natural and normal.
Yeah, and I don't speak Spanish, by the way. And I was in isolation most of the time in Tulum. Like I didn't know anybody, didn't talk to anybody for almost 3 months. Just back and forth to dinners with my little app, trying to read the menu. That was my life for a while. That was the day that the 22 merged into the field as one. I went from a soul braid to a soul infusion. A soul infused with others. My soul, my energetic field is infused with other walk-ins. And these are just
funny. You're showing me jambalaya. You're like, you went from a braid to this beautiful I don't know why you're showing me jambalaya, but it's like you're showing you like this beautiful whole. I'm okay. Keep going. I'm interrupting you.
So it gets even more exciting.
Of course it does.
If you want to see exciting, like again, remember the elevator ride that never stops.
Yeah.
Right. So I have about 6 months of integration at this point. I went back to Florida, got my things together, and now you're going to Colorado. I'm like, Colorado, it's cold there. I'm from Florida. Anyhow,
Right.
I get to Colorado and I wake up the end, and I kind of knew what was about to take place, but I didn't. I started feeling funny in the body. My body vibrates a lot. Right.
Okay.
Sleep isn't that wonderful for me. I take magnesium or I take melatonin, right? But it literally is like a tuning fork. And when they're on, I can feel every cell in my body at the bone marrow all the way to about an inch out of my body, right? So it's like this field. I can feel it. Anyways, it can get intense for weeks and weeks at a time. This is what was happening late January, I think it was. So when I woke up, I couldn't move my body again. But it was different this time because I had no emotions either. Now, not having emotions is very different than being neutral. Trust me. And the way I explained it, it's the idea. And by the way, I had woke up in the middle of them swapping out all of my chakras, my energetic field. And I had reached a point of saturation with energy. And I'm like, listen, I went from, a 120 volt to dryer voltage. And they installed other ones in my system. So it was as if I was a puppet and all the cords had been cut to the body, including the emotional cord. So it took 3 or 4 hours, that came online, and then energy ramped up again. And what they did over the next few months is my field, my consciousness, my soul, whatever, began merging with what you could call an omni stream of divine consciousness. Now, let me pause there. We put people in our lives to look at us. Every psychic needs a psychic. Every healer needs a healer. Right?
Yep.
We need validation. Am I seeing what I'm seeing? And this is how I've always done my business. I'll ask 3 people the same question. And if I get the same response, well, there's a validity of truth to it beyond my own inner understanding. So I reached out to a friend. I'm like, listen, I want you to tell me what's going on with me.
Right.
And she says, okay. And she taps in. She says, you've got 16 ascended masters. Again, these are sparks, not full souls. 16 ascended masters, 15 archangels, and 10 Christed ETs in your field right now. I'm like, I got what? She's like, yeah, 10 Christed ETs. I'm like, you need to explain that. So the way they explained it is every species has their own version of ascended masters, what I call the pure divine lineage of that species. Okay. And those aspects are in the field, in my field. And the reasoning that is because as somebody comes to me in a session and they have name whatever race you'd like. It just doesn't even matter with the way this is configured. They will come in and ensure that your Palladian codes or your Arcturian codes or your angelic codes or your fill in the blank don't have any back doors.
What's a back door to you?
A back door is somebody, anytime that we enter into an agreement, there's a contract, right? Contracts have small print, right? Sure, I'm going to give you these activations, but I'm also going to take your energy. Right? Or you're going to start moving to my collector to do my stuff for me. Backdoor is what's in contracts. You show up, and this is part of the reason they're there, is to ensure that the human stays as divine as possible to all this transition by removing all those things we don't know about. And the way they explain it is the human's at a disadvantage right now for 2 reasons. One, we have a veil around us. Okay, we really can't see outside the veil with true discernment. Right? We think we do, right? And the way I like to say it is you can go to Joey on YouTube, a fictitious name, by the way, and say, man, I really like Joey. Man, he really resonates with me. I'm going to trust Joey and his activation, right? That's great. So Joey drops in and Joey's connected to, it doesn't matter, a Palladian, a reptilian, an Arcturian, a mantis. It just doesn't matter, right? The way the team says it is there are a lot of neighborhoods up there, different species, but not every neighbor in the neighborhood is in 100% alignment with you.
Sure.
Right. There's always that one neighbor, right? So they're like, this is what happens. So Joey connects to his team brings codes in, but you've given your free will permission to receive, even though you've used your discernment. But even Joey doesn't know what's going on with that collective behind the scenes. So That's what the divine's here for. That's what this team's here for, to clean your codes, to ensure that the human doesn't get wrapped up in things that they didn't know they were getting wrapped up into. So anyways, backing up. So she reads my field. She tells me all these things. And what happened at that point within the next 2 months is I became merged with what's called an omni stream of divine consciousness. So imagine all of those divine aspects in one incredibly large collective. My team told me New Year's Eve just passed, about a month ago. They said, listen, it's not the omni stream of divine consciousness, it's the divine authority. I'm like, I don't think I like that word authority. They said, listen. They said, the divine itself has a set of laws and regulations for every species, every part of the universe, every planet, every collective that needs to be followed. The authority ensures that those laws are followed, dictated from source and dictated from the great divine director. Okay? So that's what the divine authority ensures. Everyone plays by the rules and laws put forth for that experience. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. And they said, right now, there are tens and tens and tens of thousands of different ET species on the planet inside of us. We all typically relate to what I call the common 10, Platonians, whatever, right? But there's like tens and tens of thousands. And they're coming in and they're not really abiding by the human laws and regulations. The divine authority will come in because they're all connected through this stream to ensure everyone plays by the laws that are in place for us. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. So now more stuff happens. So come June, I'm in Frisco, Colorado, 9,300 feet elevation. I am just buzzing. I mean, I'm so bad. I'm screaming at my team, right? And in fact, I got so mad at them. When I go through my integrations, they don't talk to me much. They don't. They go quiet.
We're going to see you on the flip side.
Yeah. They go quiet. I'm like, oh, here it comes. So I declared a Mexican standoff. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm not going to allow you to talk to me. And at the end of 3 weeks, I declared myself the winner.
Good for you.
Yeah. And then
I'm sure.
Began talking again. But what happened here is I got woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I knew it was coming because I tricked a couple of my friends. I said, hey, what's taking place? Oh, we can't tell you. I told my other friend, what's taking place? Oh, the team says we can't tell you. I says, oh. I go back to my other friend and says, hey, the other one told me. He said, oh, she told you what's happening? She goes, oh, the great divine director is coming in. So then I go back to my other friend. I'm like, hey, she told me what's happening. She says, oh, she told you? So I had to play a little human trick there, right? So that's what happened. I got woke up at 3 in the morning and he comes in. He says, hey, I'm here. I said, who are you? He says, you know who I am? I says, really? He says, I want you to call me buddy. I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, yeah. He says, I'm moving your furniture to make room for my stuff. I'm like, what does that even mean? And what he meant is he's shifting my frequencies more and more to make room for his frequency to come down. It's a single spark, a single aspect of the great divine director, right? Now, that was back in June. Here we are, 9 months later, and I've only talked to him 2 or 3 times, and he has channeled verbally, and he comes through the chest so deep and so loud. And he's like, you're just not ready for the energy yet. So this is what's coming. So that was a really long story, but this is who I am. I'm a soul infused, human with all these divine aspects moving through the structure to heal, to activate, to give you your memories back if that's what you choose. Like the entire toolbox is available through this divine consciousness stream, through this structure. So hello.
You're like, hello, I'm Ken. Nice to meet you.
I'm Ken. Yeah, let's go have dinner.
You talk about miracles in this beautiful way that is so easy, is the best word that just comes to mind with it. It's so fluid. Tell us a little bit more about that, because so many people have that, they hear the word miracle and there's such a different action, but you do it with such ease and grace, and it's just so normal. So let's talk about miracles for a moment.
So everyone gets a miracle, and they get a lot of them. And a miracle, as a team defines it, as something positive happening without a logical explanation. It's not a biblical reference, right? This could be money coming in from nowhere. This could be the pain in your body you've had for 50 years gone, right? This could be a relationship that you've been trying to reconnect with your family for 20 years, and it happens that quick, right? A miracle, the way I look at it, is there's energy in your field, right? Whether it be in your physical soul structure, outside your field, that is preventing you from getting access to your highest vibrational frequency. The team's able to remove those blockages, remove the energy interference in real time, allowing you to shift often in real time, giving you the miracle. Now, here's the thing. My team won't teach you process. They won't tell you if you want to be your highest ascending, best possible person, you need to meditate on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. facing the other direction of the sun. I'm being funny because I like my humor.
I love it, actually.
Right? They won't do that.
No.
They won't do that. But what they will do is say, listen, you just received something amazing and incredible. Go find your tribe. Go do your work, right? I'm here to help, but I am not here for you to hang out with, right? Yes, you can go to my social media. You can absorb all you want, but you still need a tribe. You still need another human to help you understand why these emotions are being released, right? Why your body is healing. What are the things in your life you need to change to show up to your highest vibrational state? The team's here to give you the tools, but you still want you to do the work. So, which I love, by the way, because I've seen and read so many folks that are like, hang out by me the rest of your life. Hang out by me the rest of your life. I got all your answers. I don't have any of the answers, but I can move your field and I can move it fast. They do. I say I, it's them, for the record. I'm just the guy. So miracles all day long. And I see them all day. I'll give you an example. So I went to a friend's retreat here locally. I don't normally do retreats. I don't do in-persons often, but occasionally I do. And my friend's like, hey, I need some help. Can you come and hang out with us? I'm like, I'm a friend. Yeah, you've been great. Let me just hang out with you and your 15 people. So I show up, breath work, yoga, right? A lot of emotional complexity with the 15 in there in terms of them trick our emotions. I'm like, I got nothing here. There's a room full of ladies, right? I'm just the only guy. I'm doing my best. So I have an hour each day at the end of it, and I'm doing my activations. I'm working on everybody. And one of the days, I'm like, listen, we're going to spend 15 minutes. We're going to do some abundance clearage, some prosperity clearance. And that could be relationship. It could be money. It doesn't even matter. So I use the light language, and I get done. I'm like, oh, here it comes. Lady to my right gets a text message. Like, as soon as I'm done, she's like, oh my God, my renter's just signed another lease. And then about 10 minutes later, she says, oh, I just sold a painting. 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, across the room, the lady says, I just got an offer on my house. This happens all the time. I did this in the Sarasota Cosmic Center a month ago, just a light language, right? An event. And I went to dinner with one of the patrons who I knew from before. And she's like, listen, she says, we've been looking for a buyer for the house for a year now. She says, we got 2 offers the next day, and we got another offer on the 4th day. She says, not only that, but my husband and I both ended up with money in our account. We don't know where it came from. Well, they know where it came from. It was like 401k they completely forgot about, right? She's like, it's incredible. And then someone else took me out to lunch. She says, I ended up with $10,000 in my account. And that was from a retirement plan as well that they'd forgotten about. Listen, this isn't stuff coming out of the thin air. This is money that is already yours, that there's just energetic blockages. And this is, again, the idea of a miracle. What was nice about that event is I hear stories all the time across my social media of things that are changing their lives, but I never got to kind of witness it, right? So it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, okay, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen for people, and neither do they. But it happens all the time. A lot more than I understand.
You, on the human, it's interesting. Sometimes when I get to do these interviews, I just start like, my telepathy just starts going off the charts. Like, English is not going fast enough for me, right? You got to feel it. You got to have the essence. You got to feel their excitement. And that is that spark. That's like, ooh, because you can hear the stories, but then you got to feel it in real time of their excitement.
And that their faces, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't do that over Zoom, and I can't do that, and when I'm in a group, there's so many people in the group. It's, I'm not able to really connect with so many folks. In fact, I usually don't connect with a lot of folks because I need my space too, right? But yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I see the body shifting and changing all the time. Like, that's an everyday thing. In fact, if it doesn't happen, I start asking why. So I'm an old data scientist guy, right?
Yeah, you are.
I got the plaque somewhere that says I took the course, certificate, right? And I'm like, I got a 98% efficiency rate. And when that 2% aren't able to receive, there's usually just two things that keep them from receiving the energy or the shifts in their life. One, the ego's blocking them. Right? Now, that's not something the human can kind of understand, but I'm able to go in there and actually have a conversation with the ego, using light language, by the way, and pull Christ consciousness through them. I'm able to step the ego out where they can then begin to receive. Right? That's fine. But then they have the yuckies in them. That's a whole other story. Yuckies, it's just a word I made up. That, you know,
I love the yuckies word. Tell us about the yuckies.
Well, the yuckies are energy out there that is intentionally intercepting your ability to receive in life. Okay? Anything. Right? So you may say, oh my God, I can feel it in my body. Oh, my neck's better. I can move it, twist it, popping's gone, and 10 minutes later it's back. Right? They're pulling it out of you because they're taking it. The yuckies. Right? Now I can see them and I can pull them out of you, no problem, but then they come back because there's other deeper things that need to take place. And then I send them off to other friends that deal with those things specialty. Get rid of the thing, get rid of those yuckies, whatever's doing that, and then come back to the social media, come back to the events, whatever it is, so you can get receiving. But those are the only two reasons. The only two reasons, right? They're just not willing because of the ego or them, right? And when people hear light language, you know, they're like, I'm not so sure, right? It's got a giggle factor to it, is what I call it. If you can get past the giggle factor and allow yourself to just be in the moment, you'll notice there's shifts taking place. But yeah.
The first time I heard it that I talked about in the intro, I do have to say, for a moment, we're there and I opened my eyes and I looked around the room a little bit, and then I just got quiet and I felt it. But there was a lot of people that were like, what the blankety blank is going on here? And I love the giggle factor, because if you just giggle and go, just feel it, everybody. Yeah. It's and getting out of your brain to try to figure out if there's any English words that you're saying.
There's none.
There's none.
There's not a single one.
Nope.
and there are thousands that flow through me.
Oh.
Thousands and thousands of the languages, right? And I find them showing up in groups of 4 or 5 at a time. And you'll hear the speed change, the tone change. My facial expressions will change sometimes, you know, and that's just basically, and I can feel them lining up like me next, like they're all begging to come in and do that miracle work that they do, right? So it's really cool.
So we've talked about your journey. Tell me about the light language. When did that start flowing through you? And your I don't want to say saying it, because that's not the right word, but it's the only English word that I can think of. When did that just start flowing? And then how did you get out of your head to keep it going?
So they do light language karaoke.
That's awesome.
they do come in and sing sometimes. I'm like, oh, stop. I had to shut that down in the beginning. Like, I don't do karaoke, folks. So I'm on a boat. I'm on a high-speed ferry coming from Fort Myers to Naples, a 3 hours, spending the day in the Keys. And I get an audio on the internet that says, hey, speak light language in 5 minutes. Sure enough, I'm on the boat, my mouth going like this, going blah, 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 blah. And then it turned into a game. Do it in my truck, do it at home, having fun, talking to the dog, right? And then it just became this natural thing where it just shows up, right? And the light language is the easiest thing to get out of my head, because when I'm doing it, I'm actually looking at my lips, but I'm in the back of my head talking to my team often, wondering if, hey, did I do my laundry? What's going to do tomorrow? I'm having these completely different conversations while all this is coming out of me, right? Now, I'm able to use light language to talk to your teams. Back and forth, by the way, full-on dialogue. Without actually knowing the words, I'm able to understand what's happening. I can talk to your higher self, right? I can talk to ETs, whatever these things are, full dialogue back and forth with the light language, right? But when I show up in a group, it just flows. Like we're gonna have a little fun here in a little bit, right?
Oh yeah.
It'll just flow. And I let them go for a minute. I let them go for 5 minutes, whatever it is, and it kind of doesn't matter. And the beauty of it is it's like a compressed file, to use a computer term, meaning that they listen to your show right now, and then they wait 3 days, and they listen to it again, and something different will happen for them. And again, they call it a 3 cycle. So we'll listen to it once, 3-day integration, listen to it again, 3-day integration, then a third time. Just keeps unpacking and integrating for people. It's the same instructions we give for everything in my events.
It's interesting then you also go on 3-month cycles. So 3 must be a powerful.
It must be. But by the way, none of my codes are there. I'm wearing glasses, right? I literally can't heal myself with any of these things. With code. Now I can do it in the Library of Creation, which is another segment or whatever, but I don't get anything. And the reasoning is that if I was able to heal myself, I'd be showing up like, fill in the blank, right? Maybe some muscle bound guy, and probably not the gray hairs we talked about, not the glasses, no wrinkles. Yeah, I'd be that guy, right? But the point is by not getting my codes, it takes away any manipulation, any intentional desire to go in and tweak things for my own benefit.
I don't want to say it keeps it real, but that's what pops in. So let's talk about your energy healing catalog of over 400 transmissions that people can connect with, because this is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, catalog, right? So you can go to the catalog and you can get all sorts of stuff to fix. Now, I'm not a doctor, blah, 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 all that fine print.
Entertainment
only. But you can go there and receive the energy to work on, again, I pick on the shoulders or the kidneys or the detoxing. Also activations, right? You want to open up your remote viewing, your third eye, your clarities, whatever they are, the clairs. All that stuff's in there. Every event I've ever done is also recorded. I just did a DNA event, 2-hour DNA event, just this past Sunday, right? That's in the past replays. Everything I have ever done is there, from abundance to even religious trauma, by the way, emotional trauma, relationship stuff, physical healing. I did an event the week before, which was, your new physical human structure, new human DNA things happen. I mean, you name it, it's all in there, right? And if it's not in there, that's okay. Because even though the events I'm doing have a label, I have a marketing team. They come up with marketing labels. It doesn't matter. Your team, as we said earlier, is going to give you what you're ready for, no matter what you show up for, right?
Right.
And the reason that you see so much social media posts from me with regard to all this light language is because I need to be able to reach everybody, right? Those who only have a phone, right? And then those who are on that lifelong mission, dropping every ounce of energy they can into it. I'm here for the entire spectrum of everybody. So I give and give and give and give and give. And when you're ready to step up to the distant healing, right? Do distant healing on Mondays. You want to do my events on Wednesdays. You want to do my YouTube lives. Those are there. I have big 2-hour events once a month, right? It's all available depending on how far you want to take it in your own journey. And are you ready? Because your life will get disrupted. You'll find yourself raising your frequency and getting rid of those things that brought your frequency down. And sometimes those are relationships. Sometimes those are jobs. Sometimes those are the things inside of you that you've held on for 30 years because some trauma in a childhood. You're going to release. You're going to let go to bring you into those higher vibrations. And when you're in those higher vibrations, your whole world changes. Everything matches you and then matches you and matches you. And things just get better and better and better. And yes, we all have that bad day, but it doesn't stick around. It doesn't stick around.
That is something that I really admire about how you are bringing this, because if you just have time for a little YouTube short, great. If you have time on Mondays, come on. Wednesdays, everybody, I went to one of his Wednesday events, and what he did, and I think it was under 50 minutes. It was amazing. But then you also do small group work, you do events, and you do one-on-ones. So you really offer, I love how you're, it's where do you want to go? And what are you ready for? Which is super powerful.
Well, we don't do one-on-ones anymore. The team shut that down.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. He does not do one-on-ones anymore.
I do what I call direct support. I'll bring 25 people into a group and we'll do an intimate group for 3 hours or something. But what the team's doing is bringing the Library of Creation online, which I'm releasing at the Expo in February, right? And that is the ability for you to do the work without me. So you get access to those same code banks through the Library of Creation, which is a new tool that's now being available for humanity because of where we're at in our collective ascension. So by visualization, you can visualize your upper self or your higher self, call it what you want, is going to give you a visualization. As you move through that visualization to pull the energy off, you're actually pulling from the same code bank I am to bring your codes down. So to teach you how to do this without having to go through everything I did, Now, it's not the same, and the idea happens instantly, but there are rooms like for your viewing room of your past lives. You can say, show me all the past lives that are making my shoulder hurt. And they'll show up on TV screens, and then they'll start popping off as they heal them. But you could also say, show me that past life where I was in love. And you can jump into the TV screen and actually remote view that past life. Okay. There is the room of knowledge, the room of activations. Every activation we've ever wanted is already there. You don't have to wait for a portal date. The human does, because of the galactic alignment, like the 8-8, which we have fun with, right? But you can get that now in the library by going into this particular room. The conference room. You want to meet your team? You go into the conference room. Energy interference, emotions, trauma, places for all this to remove. And so you can do your own work at your own steady pace without having to need me. That's coming.
What's your invitation before we jump in? Because I can already feel everyone around is just like wanting to come on in and share some of your goodness. What's an invitation to someone that watched this and went, okay, I'm kind of curious about Ken and about light language and what's going on. How do we crack open that ego?
Yeah. So first of all, you go to kenlloydofficial.com/free. Okay. If you go to the /free, there'll be a free 13-minute clearing. That'll give you the experience, right? So when you're having that bad day, you want to feel a shift in the body, listen to it, right? And that'll get your dose in water. Beyond that, check the social media out, right? I have a Facebook group, the Evolutionary Human Ken Lloyd, right? Jump in there, listen to the stories, listen to the comments, listen to the interviews. I mean, do your discernment. The team teaches discernment. Everything has to be discernment, period, right? This is the most important thing you can do at this point in your life is use your discernment and make those hard choices. When your discernment is saying, yeah, you're going to have to cut the cord of so-and-so, do it. Do it. It's going to stink, but it's going to be so much better when you're done. So I'm not sure if that answered the question, Kelly.
I think it was perfect.
Okay.
The floor is yours. Whatever you'd like to do to wind us up.
So we're going to give you guys a little bit of an activation of the soul, a little bit of deeper connection to who you are, a little bit of more knowing of what you are, but not in the idea of the logic of the senses, not in terms of the memory, in terms of the deep inner knowing that I am more than I am right now. To do this, there's really nothing you need to do. If you're not driving, if you choose to, you can close your eyes and just enjoy. But don't set any other expectations, please. Shalom malera toriar te dir shide go to kore shide bade kni ala tare malera garo to riurta ke shide go to kore bade anata ta malera daro to porto ke shinitia shalom malo to ya taro to shinata shao til naro to no to shi no to po au ke le ale niaro to momo ya to ni to ni ta momo lo to shito ta ai mau kyuridu ni te ka au kau pe tiata Sharama Balero to should go Baleric alarm Malero should go to the Chakapo, Kirota, Kirochi, to Kodota Karotuya, the Riaro Donoto to the Kuchikita, Tao, Teotoria, Takariata, Shili Territoria, Shaloratoria Malero, Sugar American to Kutiata Caroto. Mambari no to shina kau kilo to kuno tako pa kau kilo to kuma shoroto shauri robiro no to te kolia kopa ya kura pariro to tao ni tao no reshi no to koria ko ma auko ashama ya ni to ya sia ni ya uri liro sharpau ko ro to rotekia prearo to roto ko tekiri ta shale me malaria noria mama ya lariani shala mama malaria rotoria tekelia Shalom malo no dia nakalia nani naro rotaro torishieta. Mosha no toya tauku. I no to no tau dia toto shitaka. Yata no to shak toto shitaka papau, pieto no taurotau. Mabashato kato ke dia shitia ta no ta ankuro to dia tota shapapapoyota. Tata shikiroto no ko. Okay, you can come out of that when you're ready. So they told me they did that karaoke for you.
I did. I was like, we got a little karaoke.
They did that for you. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
I felt that coming in like sunshine coming in, not a sunburn, but it felt like the whole body, just it felt like sunshine was coming in.
There's times when I know that they're talking directly to the soul. And that's when the light language sounds like a conversation. A couple little blurps and a pause, couple little burps and a pause, whatever. I'm like, okay, they're talking to you at the soul level, right? Getting the soul to kind of release what it's holding itself, right? And then they move into the shifting of the frequencies in the field. And you know, the way that I see things is we are naturally healed, period. Every one of us, these high frequency, perfect bubbles of beauty and whatever. And what happens is we get distortions in our field, which lowers us. And that's when the dis-ease and the other emotional, mental, other things show up, right? And when you remove them, we snap right back like a rubber band, sometimes instantly, often instantly, right? Depending on what you're ready for.
Mr. Ken Lloyd, it's an absolute pleasure.
Thanks.
I know this isn't the only time we're going to connect.
No, we'll have more fun.
We're going to have lots more fun. Now, you're going to be in Los Angeles in February.
Yep. I'll be doing a 5-day event there. You know, I'm doing 2 workshops and then a healing. So the workshop's going to introduce the library creation, a 45-minute workshop and a 90-minute workshop. But then I've got a 2.5-hour healing event where I'm going in. Like you experienced 60 minutes. I'm going in for 2 hours and we are shifting everything, right? Unfortunately, they put me opposite of Bashar. Yes. I'm like, really? It's okay.
Really?
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. So, and then I am in Nashville, Tennessee, March 30th and 31st with Miss Sheila Seppi doing a joint event. I don't do in-persons often, but this is a 2-day event, 900 activations, almost 9 hours each day. It'll blow you away. Imagine sitting there through this for 9 hours. It zaps your brain and it changes your life. In fact, I did this in October in Orlando for 4 days, and we realized 4 days, people can't handle that. Most of those people are coming back for this event, right? So they were transformed, they were shifting and changed. It's incredible, the stories. But yeah, so that's happening, and then stay tuned. Subscribe to the newsletter. You'll get all the goodness.
I just subscribe, and I'm in the know of what Mr. Ken is doing and your team. Mm. Well, until I see you in Los Angeles, thank you very much on behalf of myself, my team, here, there, and everywhere, and the Edge community. Thank you for your time today.
And thanks for the invite. And bye-bye, everyone. We will see you around.
We will see you very soon. Something new is unfolding at the Edge. The latest issue of Edge magazine is here, filled with voices that awaken your heart, expand your mind, and remind you that you are part of something much bigger. Explore conscious living, holistic wellness, energy healing, spirituality, and the art of awakening, all in one inspiring space. Awaken, discover, connect, and be curious. Print editions are now on the streets, and you can also read it online at edgemagazine.net. Welcome to the Edge. We have been waiting for you. You are right where you are supposed to be. Welcome home.